there is a scenario where this is abused. The superintendent does not certify the results. And when you have somebody like Donald Trump reaching out and having phone calls the way he was trying to have phone calls with Gabrielle Sterling. I mean, Gabrielle Sterling didn't take that phone call and certified the results, right? The Secretary of State Raffensperger took the phone call. But Trump was trying to get at the General Assemblies. That was his whole plan, to do end run around it. So aren't we a little afraid that Trump's going to call his General Assembly buddy? I mean, hopefully Trump never runs again. But like, that's the fear that we have, is he was trying to make those phone calls to the General Assembly. And now they've appointed somebody who may pick up the phone call. And when Trump goes, don't certify the results, they go, yeah, I'm not going to certify it. And then we have a true constitutional crisis.
Well, I mean, you're certainly right. That could present a constitutional crisis. But in a situation where you're certifying elections from the state for purposes of the Electoral College, that's more of a discretionary act than what these local superintendents are doing in the run-of-the-mill, midterm general. There's an election going on in Georgia right now for certain local judges. And to certify those results, it really is more of a ministerial act. It's not, I'm going to decide which slate of electors we're going to send to DC. It's, what are the numbers here? Either they're showing up the way I think they should or they're not. I can refuse to certify them, but I can't change the results. I can't certify some other slate of votes because I like that result better.
Well, I'll give you an example. So the Vice President Pence's role in certifying the elections was an administerial role. I mean, and everyone was like, it's just counting. But right. Donald Trump and a group of Republicans, including probably a ton of people in the General Assembly who passed this bill, thought that there was some way for the vice president to not do that ministerial act and to basically change it. So if you passed the law that changed it and said, what, the vice president doesn't do it, it's somebody who Donald Trump and a board of people who he appoints gets to basically do that ministerial act. And then we're supposed to all believe, what, they're just going to follow the typical ministerial advice like they're supposed to. That's, I think, the alarm that we have in this bill. That the intent behind it is to change the process because Raffensperger and Sterling held the line. Vice President Pence held the line. We thought all of these things were ministerial. And now they're trying to create ways to, sure, it may still be ministerial, but there are other ways maybe to get around that now through a very opaque omnibus bill.
Well, yes, but that problem was present before this law was passed, as you just pointed out. I mean, somebody who's bent on violating the law like Trump was can still call the governor and say, I don't want you to send in this slate of electors. He can try to manipulate the General Assembly. And that was true before this law was passed. I don't know.
Totally, but we shouldn't make it easier, though.
Well, that's true. Absolutely. And again, I'm a fan of this law. Not at all am I a fan of this law.